Okay, so in the last lecture, we have discussed on the difference between production planning and production control. Also, we have discussed the objectives of PPC and the need of a PPC in any manufacturing industry or in any industry. Okay, so today we will go for functions of a PPC, various functions of a production planning and controlling. Now, these functions are segregated in three parts. Okay, the functions are segregated in the three parts. Actually, the planning is segregated into two different parts. That is nothing but first part is pre-planning part, second part is planning. Okay, actual planning, and the third part is a controlling. Okay, so pre-planning will be considered as a macro level planning. Okay, or we can say that large scope planning. Okay, macro means you are doing the large scale planning, so that will be considered as the macro level planning. And planning, actual planning, will be the detailed planning. Okay, it will be called as a micro level planning. Okay, it will be called as a micro level planning. So during the pre-planning phase, we are first of all we are designing the product. Okay, so everything is depends upon a forecasting. So forecasting demand is the actual thing on which the planning phase is best. Okay, forecasting is the actual thing on which the planning phases depend. Okay, so depend upon a forecasting, we should go for the product design, we should go for the process design, we should go for the flow design, and we should go for the workstation design. Okay, so once you get the idea that there is a demand of a product, particular product, in the initial stage, you got the demand of that particular product, you identify one of the product that will have a demand in the market, and you want to go for the production of that particular product. Okay, so it will come from the forecasting demand only. Okay, and on that forecasting demand, you segregate the or you will do the analysis of that demand and how much number of products you want to produce, what should be the capacity of the plant, and what will be the demand of that particular product in the market. On that basis, you'll do everything. Okay, and the next phase is nothing but you will go for the designing of that particular product. Okay, you are going to design the product, so all the design consideration will included in that particular part, product designing. Okay, and once the product's designed and you have done the analysis of that particular product, and after that, which processes are required to produce that product is also important. Okay, which processes are nothing but one kind of operations required to produce the things. Once the processes are designed, okay, or once the processes are decided to produce the product, then you can go for the flow design, or we can say that the layout of the industry. Okay, designing of a layout of a industry. So layout means what? In which way the product will flow, or in which way you are uh, you are putting, or you are placing your machines or producing machines in the industry. Okay, so that is nothing but a layout. In the layout, you have to decide after which machine you want to put, or you want to place the next machine. Okay, and what will be the distance between that two machines, what will be the material handling equipments you want to use to transfer the material from one machine to another machine. So all that things, okay, will come under the layout design, where you want to locate the store department. That will also comes under the flow design or a layout design. Okay, so where the entry of a raw material inside the industry, how that material will be transferred from the store department to the machine section. Okay, then first which process will be performed on that product, then second process will be performed on that particular product. Okay, in this manner you have to manage the machines, or you have to locate the machines, so that here the layout design main objective is to reduce the material handling, and most of the time there should not be the longest material handling between the two station. Okay, minimum material handling means what? You should be locate the machines which are having the sequential operations. We have to locate the machines near to each other which are having the sequential operations. So means what? After completion of one process on a product, immediately you have to perform the second process on a next machine. Such a two machines should be located near to each other. Okay, so that will ensure the minimum material handling. That will ensure the minimum material handling. So once you have done this thing, you have placing the machines according to that, then there should be a proper material handling, and time will get reduced for a production process. Okay, time of material handling will get reduced, and that will increase the number of a production, and the production capacity will get increased. Okay, so that thing we have to plan at an initial planning level or a pre-planning level. Okay, then afterward we have to design the workstations. Okay, designing of a workstation means what? We know that one methodology is there, that is nothing but 5S methodology. So in that 5S methodology, we have to organize our workstation in such a manner that the equipments or the tools which are using that particular worker, that worker will identify the tool as easy as possible. Okay, and the process will be performed by that worker as early as possible. So for that purpose, 5S methodology is there. So that will be implemented, and the workstations will be organized according to that. Okay, so that will be nothing but the workstation design. Okay, here while doing the workstation design, you are reducing your complications while doing the work. Okay, or you are reducing the complications of a worker. Okay, let us say you required one spanner and you have 10 spanners in your box. Okay, or in your toolkit. Okay, and you are searching for that particular spanner, and near about 10 minutes required, or let us say the 2 minutes time period required to search that particular spanner from workstation, or from that particular toolkit. Okay, so that much time will be wasted to search the tool only. You or that particular worker have not done any productive work in that particular 2 minutes. So that will be the wastage of a time, or that will be the wastage of a productive time. Okay, and to reduce that productive time, okay, to reduce the time required to search the toolkits or tools, particular tools, you have to design the workstation properly, and it should be handy to that particular worker. Okay, it should not be away from worker, or more time is required to take that tool and come to workstation and perform the task. So that is also the part. So all the tools should be available to worker at their workstation only, so that that worker will perform the task very effectively. So that is nothing but the workstation design. That is nothing but the workstation design. Here we have to focus on reducing the smaller amount of a time. Okay, which will be considered as a wastage of time. If you reduce this searching time, or bringing out tool time, or bringing out material time, or a traveling time, then that time will be utilized for the production purpose. Okay, and in this manner we can increase the productivity of a workstation. So workstation design is useful to increase the productivity of a workstation. So all these points will be considered at a pre-planning level. Okay, all these points are considered at a pre-planning level. So what we are going to decide in a planning level. Now here in a actual planning, we are performing the micro level planning. Okay, so initial stage of a planning phase is nothing but planning related to the resources. Okay, now here it is specifically mentioned that planning resources, that is nothing but planning related to the 4 M's. So in industry, the planning related to the 4 M's should be effective. Okay, so what are that 4 M's? So first M is nothing but material, raw material. Okay, second is nothing but machine. Second is nothing but machine. Third is methodology, and fourth one is manpower. So the planning resources is the basic part of planning phase. Okay, planning resources or planning related to the 4 M's will be considered as the basic part of a planning phase. So why it should be called as a basic part, or what we are going to do in a planning related to the 4 M's? First is nothing but whatever you have decided the capacity, whatever you have decided the methodology, that things should be decided in a planning phase. Okay, so if you consider one of the material, raw material, or the for the assembly lines you required one spare part. Okay, so what quality material you required, or what standard material you required to produce the goods, so that is nothing but planning related to the material. Okay, and what decision you need to take, that is nothing but standardization of a material or standard material, decision related to the standard material, then decision related to the quality. Okay, so that is related to standardization only. Decision related to the quality, then decision related to the quantity, how much amount of a material you require. Okay, and when we should procure that material to make the production uninterrupted. Okay, or to make the flow lines or the production flow uninterrupted. So at what level we required, or at what time we required that material, so accordingly you should plan for the procurement also. Procurement means what? The buying of a material from the market or from the parties. Okay, so that is nothing but a procurement. So then second thing is nothing but second our M is nothing but the machines and equipments. Okay, so what planning decision you need to take in that machine and equipment, that is nothing but how much number of hours daily or weekly or monthly you are going to provide the load to that particular machine. Okay, how much downtime is there for the machine. Okay, downtime in the sense how much time period that machine will be in an ideal condition. I'm saying for a particular machine, it will be implemented for all the machines which are available, or for all the facilities which are available in that particular industry. Okay, so here you have to take the consideration of the capacity of a machines, then you have to take the consideration of a downtime, then you have to take the consideration of a maintenance activities that you are going to provide to the machines. Okay, so in maintenance you can consider the preventive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, and other types of a maintenance are also there. So like that, what type of a maintenance activity you are going to provide to the machines, and accordingly what kind of a load will be assigned to that machine. So that level of a planning we have to do in a planning phase related to the second M, that is nothing but machines and equipment. Third M is nothing but a methodology. So we know that there are different kinds of methodologies to produce a particular good. Okay, so sometimes you can produce the good by using the foundry technologies, sometimes you can produce the goods by using the joining methods, okay, or welding methodologies. Sometimes you can produce the product by rolling technique also. Sometimes you can produce the goods by using non-conventional machining like chemical machining or micro machining, or we can say that 1 minute. Okay, so where we are? Okay, so methodologies, we are discussing about the methodologies. So in method there are various methodologies. Sometimes we have to go for the non-conventional machining. Okay, so EDM machines are there, or chemical machinings are there. Okay, and now here, what methodology you want to implement, or which methodology is beneficial for the product, that decisions you have to take. So these are all things related to methodologies are alternatives. Okay, you have multiple alternatives, but you have to select the best alternative for the product. Okay, you have to select the best alternative for the product. That will be the planning related to the methodology. And the last M is nothing but manpower. Okay, last M in 4M is nothing but the manpower. So here we have to plan about the number of workers required, or a number of employees required. Second, you need to take the decisions about the skill sets of a worker. Second thing, or a second decision you have to take about the skill sets of a worker. Okay, then number of hours you are going to provide, or you are going to assign the work to that particular worker. So it is also important one. Sometimes we have to take the decision related to the extra working hours. Okay, sometimes we have to take the decision about the extra working hours. So that will also include in a planning phase related to the fourth M, that is nothing but manpower planning. Okay, then the second part of a planning phase is nothing but a process planning. Okay, in process planning, we are designing the process, or we are designing the flow of a material. Okay, in which way the material, particular product material, if you are having number of varieties of a product, then in that case, for a particular, or for a particular product, in which way that material or a processing will be done in the industry. Okay, that should be decided, okay, at the initial level, or in a planning phase. So let us consider there are 10 workstations. Initially you have designed one layout for the company. So on a short term, you will not change the layout. Okay, you will not change the workstation locations. Okay, so in that case, what will be the flow of a material from over the entire industry? So that is nothing but a process planning, and it will be called as a routing. Okay, routing. Then next thing is nothing but a scheduling. So in a scheduling, you are assigning the loads to machines. Okay, according to the machine capacity. Okay, in a scheduling stage, you are assigning the loads to machines in a according to their capacity. Okay, let us consider that one machine can produce the 100 components. So your assignment to that machine should not be go beyond the 100 components per day. Okay, so that is nothing but a scheduling. Okay, and then after doing the scheduling, or after assigning the workload to the machines, you have to perform the estimating. Okay, estimating means what? How much time required, or how much standard time required to produce one component on a particular machine. So in that case, you have to take the help of a industrial engineer. That is nothing but you have to perform the work measurement or work study, and you have to find out the standard time required to perform the specific task on a specific machine. Okay, so that is nothing but a estimating. Okay, that is nothing but a estimating. Now, after doing the estimation, you have to go for the dispatching. Okay, so that will be the third stage of this functions of a PPC. So in a the dispatching phase will comes under the control phase. Okay, or dispatching stage will comes under the control phase. Okay, so in control phase, first stage is nothing but a dispatching. Okay, you have done the loading, you have done the estimation, and you have done the process planning also. Now what is the next stage in a function of a PPC? That is nothing but dispatching. So what will happen in a dispatching? Now here dispatching is not related to the dispatching of a material. Okay, so there are two meanings of a dispatching in the industries. Dispatching, one is nothing but sending the material from one industry to the customer or one industry to the another industry. Okay, so that is also called as a dispatching. But here in a controlling phase, the dispatching is nothing but dispatching the orders to the specific machines or to the specific workers or to the specific we can say that the departments. Okay, now here this is one part, dispatching the order. We are giving the order to the workstations or the workers. Okay, so for that in that order, what is mentioned, the starting time of that particular production of particular goods or a product, and the end time of that particular production, and also the number of quantities. Okay, so that will be included in that order. Okay, and once the order will receive, then and then only the production will start. So once the orders are received, now this is the one part of a dispatching or receiving or providing the orders to the respective departments, respective machines, respective workers. Then second thing is nothing but dispatching the required material from the stores to that particular workstations. Okay, the material also need to transfer, not only the orders. If the order is with the worker, but the material will not be with that particular worker, how will that worker will perform the task? Okay, without material it will not be happen. And worker all the materials or all the tools required for the production and the materials are under control of a store department. Okay, so store department will dispatch the material and required tools. Sometimes for some machines the specific jigs and fixtures are required, so that need to be provided to the specific worker or specific workstations. Okay, so that will comes under the dispatching. Okay, so after dispatching the orders and required material to the specific workstations and workers, the work will start. Okay, and after starting of the work or the assignment, the quality of that particular work will be measured by the quality department. Okay, so to maintain the quality or to assure the quality of the product is the work related to the quality department. So online quality will be checked for the products, and if there is any variation, that will be recorded. Okay, and if there is a there will not be any variation, then the green signal will be provided for the further production. Okay, so this is related to the inspection. Then next thing is nothing but expediting. Expediting, here in the expediting stage, we have to maintain the record of all the things. Okay, and we have to check that whether it is going according to the planning or not. For that purpose, you need to generate the reports like productivity, like rejection rate, then output rate. So all the things will be recorded, and after doing the recording of all the things, or by generating this recorded papers, the evaluation will be done. Okay, in the evaluation phase, analysis will be prepared. What are the different corrective action we need to take? okay, on the deviations or on the variations, okay, and that analysis will be provided or will be sent to the planning phase. Okay, once again in the planning phase, because planning is the centralized activity. Okay, it is the centralized activity, and by doing the evaluation or by checking the variation from planned thing to the actual thing, the analysis will be prepared, and that analysis will be transferred once again to the planning section, or to the, it will be represented in a management meetings, and the corrective actions will be taken on that things, and it will be once again followed the same functional, we can say that functional steps to reduce that deviation. Okay, to reduce that deviation. Okay, getting my point? Is there any question, any doubt? Is there any question, any doubt? Whether you understood the meaning of each and everything: process planning, scheduling, estimating, dispatching, inspection, expediting, evaluation. So these are the stages, or we can say that the functions of a PPC. Okay, so it will start from the pre-planning to the control level. Okay, to the control level. Okay, so I will give 2 minutes time period. If you have any doubt, any question, then you can ask, or else you can draw this diagram. Okay, so functions of a production planning and control. Everyone draw this diagram, okay, block diagram, and it is very important to understand the functions of a PPC. Okay, here this dotted line is provided because there is no any hard and fast segregation between pre-planning and planning. Okay, there is no any hard and fast segregation between pre-planning. You cannot segregate the things between pre-planning and planning. Yes, we can say that it is a part of a planning. Pre-planning is a part of a planning only. Okay, so have you drawn the diagram? Everyone, have you drawn the diagram? Important diagram. So we'll discuss right the part related to this. Okay. So next you can write the pre-planning. 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 Great. Write down pre-planning. Pre-planning is a macro. Sorry. Pre-planning is a macro level planning. Pre-planning is a macro level planning. Next point, deals with analysis of data. Deals with analysis of data. Deals with analysis of data. And is an outline. And is an outline. And is an outline of the planning policy. Of the planning policy. Of the planning policy based upon the forecasted demand. Based upon the forecasted demand. Based upon the forecasted demand, comma, market analysis. Forecasted demand, comma, market analysis. And product design and development. And product design and development. Product design and development. Next point, this stage is concerned with process design. This stage is concerned with process design and workflow. This stage is concerned with process design and workflow. In bracket, plant layout. In bracket, plant layout. Next point, the pre-planning function of a PPC. The pre-planning function of a PPC. The pre-planning function of a PPC is concerned. Pre-planning function of a PPC is concerned with decision making. With decision making with respect to methods. With respect to methods, comma, machines and workflow with respect to availability. With respect to availability, comma, scope and capacity. With respect to availability, comma, scope and capacity. Full stop. Then next planning. In that you can write planning is micro level planning. Planning is micro level planning. Planning is micro level planning. Next, planning function starts. The planning function start once the task to be accomplished is specified. Planning function starts once the task to be accomplished is specified. ओके, प्लानिंग फंक्शन कब शुरू होता है? जब क्या करना है ये आपको पता चलेगा, तब आप प्लानिंग शुरू कर सकते हैं. ओके, दिस फेज विल स्टार्ट वंस द टास्क टू बी अनकम्प्लीट इज स्पेसिफाइड, comma, with the analysis of 4 M's, with the analysis of 4 M's, that is machines, comma methods, comma materials and manpower. These are the 4 M's in any industry: machines, methods, materials and manpower. Followed by process planning. Next point. Followed by process planning in bracket routine. Process planning in bracket routine, comma scheduling, comma estimating, Next, control. In that you can write control phase is affected by dispatching. Control phase is affected by dispatching, comma inspection, and expediting material control, comma analysis of work in progress, full stop. Next point. Finally evaluation makes the PPC cycle complete. And corrective action are taken. Through a feedback from analysis. Next point. A good communication and feedback system. Is essential. A good communication and feedback system is essential to enhance and ensure effectiveness of PPC. Just 1 minute. Okay.
Okay, so you can write about the routing. Okay, process planning, part of a process planning, or part of a planning. In that, process planning is there. So process planning. In that you can write, it is concerned with it is concerned with it is concerned with selection of path. It is concerned with selection of path or route, selection of path or route, which the raw material which the raw material which the raw material should follow to get transformed to get transformed into finished product, to get transformed into finished product. Next point, the main aim of routing the main aim of routing the main aim of routing is to determine is to determine the main aim of routing is to determine the best and cheapest path or route is to determine the best and cheapest path or route of operation of operation of operations, and to ensure that and to ensure that and to ensure that this route is strictly followed this route is strictly followed and to ensure that this route is strictly followed. Next you can write, routing involves following different duties. Routing involves following different duties. First one, fixation of path of travel, giving due consideration to layout. Fixation of path of travel, giving due consideration to layout. Fixation of path of travel, giving due consideration to layout. Second, breaking down of operations. Second, breaking down of operations to define breaking down of operation to define breaking down of operation to define each operation in detail. Breaking down of operation to define each operation in detail. Each operation in detail. Next, deciding the setup time and a process time, deciding the setup time and process time for each operation, deciding the setup time and process time for each operation. Okay, this is about the routing. Next, loading and scheduling. Next, loading and scheduling. Loading and scheduling. In that you can write, scheduling mainly concerned with preparation of machines load, with preparation of machines load, fixation of with preparation of machines loads and fixation of starting and completion dates and fixation of starting and completion dates for each of the operations for each of the operations. Second point, machines have to be loaded according to their capacity of performing the given task. Machines have to be loaded according to their capacity of performing the given task, according to their capability of performing the given task, and according to their capacity. Duties in loading and scheduling includes following duties. First one, loading the machines as per their capability and capacity. Loading the machines as per their capability and capacity. Second, determining the start and completion times. For each operations. Determining the start and completion times for each operation. And the last one, to coordinate with sales department regarding delivery schedule. I miss out this in my talk, so remember this. In scheduling, we have to coordinate with the sales department also to meet up the deliveries. Okay, so to coordinate with sales department regarding delivery schedules. So here in a simplified manner it is provided. Loading will determines who will do the work. Routing determines where that work will be performed, and scheduling determines when it shall be done. In a simplified manner, loading क्या करता है? Loading आपको बताता है कि कौन करने वाला है, ओके, कौन सी मशीन करने वाली है, कौन सा वर्कर करने वाला है. रूटिंग क्या बताता है, कहां पे करने वाले हो आप ये, ओके, कौन से वर्क स्टेशन पे करने वाले हो, ओके, दैट इज नथिंग बट रूटिंग. और शेड्यूलिंग क्या बताता है, ये आप कब करने वाले हो, ओके, ये आप कब करने वाले हो. सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इन अ सिंप्लीफाइड मैनर. लोडिंग डिटरमाइंस हु विल डू द वर्क, as routing determines where, and scheduling determines when it shall be done. Okay, then next, estimating. The last point of planning, that is nothing but estimating. In that you can write, once the overall method and sequence of operations, is fixed and process sheet for each operation is available and process sheet of for each operation is available, comma, then the operations times are estimated. Then the operation times are estimated. Next point, thus function is carried out. Thus function is carried out. Thus function is carried out. Thus function is carried out using. Thus function is carried out using. Thus function is carried out using extensive analysis of operations. Thus function is carried out using extensive analysis of operations along with methods and routing and a standard time for operation and a standard time for operation are established using work measurement techniques. Using work measurement techniques. Okay. Prior planning, active planning, that is planning phase, action phase, that is dispatching, ordering to start the work. Okay. So this is about the planning phase. Okay, we reached up to the planning phase. So related to the control phase, the write-up part we will cover in the next lecture. Okay, if you have any doubt, any question, then you can ask whether you understood all the points, because these functions are actually implemented in the industries. Okay, so then if you are if you get a job vacancy related to the PPC engineer, then you should have the knowledge of this, all the functions. Okay, and there will be questions in an interview related to these points, and if you are able to explain, that will be the good thing, or that will be the positive thing for the interview, and there may be chances for the selection, more chances for the selection. Okay, so these points are important for the manufacturing industries, where you get the job profile as a PPC engineer. Okay, production planner and controller. So in that case, these functions are effectively used and implemented to complete the task, okay, of that particular profile. Okay, so important points are there, so you need to understand this, and if you get a time, try to do some research on a Google to determine more things related to this. Okay, is there any question, any doubt? If not, then you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave.